Amir's antics keep her dad, Nicholas Perez, smiling. He hopes to enroll Amir into gymnastics soon.
I want to get her up there so she can do a little flips and stuff like that.
But the path to take his daughter to places has not been smooth. Without a driver's license, his main mode of transportation is a worn-down bike with a punctured front tire and chipped teal paint.
I get jobs that I have to be near the house necessarily because I don't like walking. I don't have no car.
He rides for necessity, not by choice.
I ride a bike, and even though I like riding a bike, sometimes that in most climates, that's hard for me to do.
Nicholas's driving privileges were suspended at age 17 because of unpaid juvenile court fees.
No one wants to be in debt. No one wants to have to pay quadruple to be free.
The court issued a D6 suspension, keeping him from getting a driver's license. At age 21, he remains unable to reinstate his license.
He has to pay for his driver's license before he even gets an actual driver's license.
Nicholas's juvenile court fees resulted from a trespassing conviction.
Just being around the wrong people in the wrong crowd led me to the wrong places and made wrong decisions.
He was sentenced to community service and a curfew. He violated his curfew and missed school, which put him in juvenile detention. Nicholas's life was not the only one that changed forever.
Heartbreaking. I fell on my knees many a times pleading to Jesus. Heartbreaking. But I also had to pick myself up and encourage him. Whether it be to him personally or if he's incarcerated, I'm encouraging him through prayer.
Nicholas's time in the juvenile system cost his mom over $830 in fines and fees because she was his legal guardian at the time.
If a child has paid for their crime and they have done their time, why would you make the parents pay more? We've suffered enough. We paid enough.
The Lake County Clerk of Court billed Nicholas's mother. With Smith unable to pay the bill, the Clerk of Court sent it to a private collection agency.
All your bills are important to pay, but when you have something that's following you around on your credit, it will affect your life.
The unpaid fines have affected her credit report, making it impossible to secure certain jobs or become a homeowner.
We have a family of 6, and we're trying to get more established into a good home. We are responsible with paying our debts. We're not trying to get out of that. It's been a struggle.
Nicholas's experience is not that different from others in his situation.
These are often the youth most impacted by system involvement. These are Black youth, particularly in Florida. In some states, it's also indigenous youth and other youth of color, kids from really poor and challenging environments, families, and communities who just don't have the money.
A recent report from the Fines and Fees Justice Center and Juvenile Law Center shows Florida imposed $5.1 million in court fees against youth in 2019. Just 11%, or $547,973 of those fees were collected.
While there is some money coming in, we can show it's not significant. We can show that eliminating this isn't going to have a huge impact, even a marginal impact on Florida's budget. The meager amount collected is not really supporting the entire juvenile justice system.
The clerks of court, who are responsible for collecting court debt and reporting on yearly collections, have recognized youth and their families cannot pay. In 2019, Florida's Clerks of Court Operation Corporation set a 9% collections goal. The Alachua County office did not meet the 9% goal. In fact, the last yearly data shows only 3.45% was collected.
On that report, the reason was this group does not have jobs, which is something similar you kind of see as a trend throughout. Other clerks have said that Juveniles and their families are historically unable to pay.
There are 31 different fines and fees that Florida can charge children and their families for their involvement in the juvenile system, regardless of guilt or innocence.
These fees push youth and families into greater recidivism. Either they're turning to crime to pay these fees, or the more they're stuck in the system because they can't pay, their families are struggling, the more it leads to criminality.
These fines and fees include a $50 public defender charge, court administration, and the cost of detention and probation supervision.
Kids need to have accountability when they commit crimes, of course, and I think restitution is not a part of this consideration, and that's the most important thing, is to make victims whole and make kids understand when they are guilty of crimes that, it's wrong and you need to account for it. But what we don't need to do is pile on top of that and collect money that goes to the government.
Scott serves as the vice president of the Florida Public Defender Association. The organization is in favor of eliminating juvenile fines and fees.
Something that you do as a child shouldn't affect you and limit your future forever. They should be given a second chance and a chance at rehabilitation.
In the 2022 legislative session, Florida legislators proposed a bipartisan Debt-Free Justice for Children Act that would wipe out all juvenile fines and fees. The House and Senate companion bill died in committee. But in 2021, 5 states led by both Republicans and Democrats passed reforms to eliminate some or all juvenile fees. Advocacy groups are hopeful it will get reintroduced in the state's 2023 legislative session.
And I think eliminating this debt is a massive step towards giving all kids in Florida a promise of a future that really, every child deserves to have.
The whole goal of the juvenile delinquency system, if you look on the Department of Juvenile Justice website and also in Florida statutes, is rehabilitation. So it's not penalization to begin with. And these fees become penalizing.
The weight of these costs is more than this mother is able to bear.
We're the ones that have to hold our babies at nighttime when they're crying from this hurt and this anger that they're going through. And at the same time, we have to teach our children about creditors. This is what will happen if you get in trouble.
Nicholas dreams on, hoping to become a physical therapist someday. His dream centers on rehabilitating others, something he believes the juvenile system has failed to do.
Just to rehabilitate them so they can continue on their life and seeing what they want to do in life, instead of just being all broken up and don't have nobody to help them out. So I want to be there for them.
Over time, maturity.
I feel guilty about it, but that's because I was young and I didn't know, and I was just doing stuff.
And fatherhood.
Just having a daughter really changed me and really made me put a lot of stuff aside.
Transformed him into Amir's role model.
I know if nobody's going to be there for her, I'm going to be there for her.
Even as the debt acts as a daily reminder of those days gone by. Sophia Mingodi, WUFT News.